Young and the Restless spoilers reveal the atmosphere in the Newman mansion seemed more stifling than ever. Nikki Newman, a strong woman with sharp eyes, stood in front of the fireplace, deep in thought. Beside her was Claire Newman, a loyal and determined ally. Jordan, with his cursed name, was an undeniable threat to everyone Nikki loved. Nikki raised her head, her eyes flashing as if finding an idea. Yes, Claire. We will lure her to a place where everything can end forever. In an instant, the atmosphere in the room became as tense as a string. Nikki turned to Claire and Victoria Newman, her daughter with a spirit of steel no less than her mother. Put on your coats. We need to prepare everything now. But as the three left the mansion, they were unaware that in the dark corner, a pair of eyes were watching. Victor Newman, the family man and the sharpest of men, had overheard their conversation. Although he didn't hear every detail, Victor was smart enough to realize that trouble was coming. What's going on? Victor muttered suspiciously, his eyes never leaving Nikki and Claire's figures as they climbed into the car. Nikki, Claire, and Victoria drove through the deserted streets of Genoa City. The seconds seemed to slow down as they planned the details. Nikki, who had been through so much, seemed to know the ideal place to lure Jordan, a deserted plot of land in the suburbs where no one could be a witness. Nikki shook her head, trying to reassure her ally. Victor won't interfere. He'll trust that I know what I'm doing. A surprise appearance. When they arrived at the rendezvous point, Nikki called Jordan over, using the perfect excuse to lure her in. Jordan, full of dangerous confidence, had no idea that this was a trap. But just as the plan was about to be put into action, a sleek black car pulled up not far away. The door opened, and Victor stepped out with a cold glare. Nikki froze for a moment. Victor, what are you doing here? She asked, trying to hide her surprise. Victor didn't answer right away. He stepped closer, his eyes fixed on Nikki as if he was trying to read her mind. I don't know what you're planning, Nikki. But I know this won't end well. Jordan, by now, realized that she had fallen into a trap. Nikki, is this how you want to handle things? Using violence instead of reason? Jordan sneered. But before anyone could react, Victor raised his hand to stop Nikki. This isn't the way to go about this, Victor said, his voice full of authority. If she's really a threat, we need a different approach. Not blood. Family strife. Nikki looked at Victor, her emotions mixed. On one hand, she knew he was right. But on the other, she couldn't let Jordan continue to endanger her family. Victor, she won't stop. You know that. I know, Victor replied, his voice low. But how you handle this will determine what happens to this family. Do you want to drag us all down? Claire and Victoria stood still, torn between their sides. A dangerous plan seemed to have collapsed before it had even begun. As the tension reached its peak, Jordan suddenly seized the opportunity to escape. With one swift movement, she ran off into the night, leaving chaos in her wake. And so the night ended with more questions than answers. But one thing was clear, in the world of the young and the restless, nothing ever really ends. The Newman family will face new conflicts, new secrets, and most of all, a dangerous enemy still at large. The atmosphere in the Newman mansion seems heavier than ever. Nikki Newman, a woman who has faced countless storms, is now faced with a decision that could change everything. The danger called Jordan is threatening everyone Nikki loves. In the eerie silence of the room, Nikki and Claire Newman are discussing, each word exudes urgency. Nikki's idea quickly turns into a plan. Get your coat, she says, her voice excluding any resistance. Claire and Victoria Newman, Nikki's strong-willed daughter, only look at each other before following suit. They know Nikki has made her decision, and nothing can change it. As the three prepared, they did not realize that outside, in the cold darkness of the night, someone was quietly watching. Victor Newman, the family's breadwinner and a man known for his wisdom and foresight, heard enough to understand that something dangerous was going on. After leaving the mansion, Nikki, Claire, and Victoria headed to a remote location, a deserted area on the outskirts of Genoa City. It was the perfect location for Nicky's plan. There were no witnesses, no one to interfere, and most of all, no way for Jordan to retreat. "We need her here," Nicky said, carefully planning every detail. She knew that Jordan, with her confident and arrogant personality, would not be able to resist the invitation. Nicky called Jordan on the phone, creating the perfect excuse to lure her over. Jordan received the call with a smug smirk. "Nicky thinks you can beat me?" Jordan muttered before leaving, unaware that she was walking into a trap. Mysterious follower. As Nicky, Claire, and Victoria prepared at the meeting place, Victor Newman silently appeared, keeping a distance far enough away to not be detected. He knew that Nicky was involved in something more dangerous than anything she had ever faced. "What are you doing, Nicky?" Victor asked again, his eyes never leaving the group. Even though he didn't know the full plan, his anxiety was starting to rise. Victor was always in control of the situation, and he couldn't let anything get out of hand. The plan went wrong. Jordan appeared, as Nicky had predicted. With a cold gaze, she stepped into the wasteland, facing Nicky and her allies. "So this is how you plan to solve the problem, Nicky?" "A cheap trap," Jordan said, her voice filled with contempt. "You pushed me to this point, Jordan," Nicky replied, her gaze unwavering. "You left me no other choice." But before Nicky could take another step, things began to unravel. Victor stepped out of the shadows, his strong voice cutting through the tense atmosphere. "Stop it, Nicky." Victor's appearance froze everything for a moment. Nicky turned around, her eyes filled with surprise and anger. "Victor, what are you doing here?" "Save yourself," Victor replied, his voice firm. "What are you doing, Nicky? Do you think this will end it?" Jordan, taking advantage of the distraction, smiled wickedly. "Looks like I'm not the only one in trouble in the Newman household," she said, her eyes flicking to Victor. Family showdown. Nicky and Victor's showdown wasn't just about Jordan, it was about trust, responsibility, and love. Nicky felt betrayed when Victor showed up, disrupting her plans. "You don't understand, Victor. She's a danger. I'm just protecting my family." "Not like this," Victor protested, his eyes sharp. "We're the Newman family. We don't act like killers in the shadows." Victoria, standing nearby, tried to interject. "Dad, Mom is just trying to protect us. But we need another way." Jordan escapes. While the Newmans argue, Jordan quickly seizes the opportunity to escape. With a swift run, she disappears into the night, leaving Nicky with a failed plan and bitter feelings. As night falls on Genoa City, things are still not resolved. Jordan is still a threat, and the Newmans face internal rifts. But if one thing is certain, it is that this family will not back down from any challenge. The darkness of tonight is only the beginning of bigger storms to come. Ian Ward, the master manipulator of the world of the young and the restless, is back with his cunning schemes once again. This time, his target is Tessa, who is caught in the complicated vortex of danger and temptation that Ian brings. Ian Ward, the manipulator who never gives up. Ian will take every opportunity to pressure Tessa, forcing her into a corner by using false words of repentance. In a dramatic performance, Ian expresses his hatred for himself for destroying every last bit of goodness in Mariah's soul, who was the main victim of his manipulations. Although Ian tries to pretend to be seeking salvation, the audience will easily see through the hypocrisy and true intentions behind his words. Tessa, who is perceptive but still at risk of falling for Ian's sweet words, will need to be very careful. This is the time for her to remember Mariah's warnings about how dangerous Ian is. Tessa isn't completely caught off guard. In a surprising move, she may use Ian's own manipulation tactics against him. With some cunning and a little trickery, Tessa may be able to put Ian at a disadvantage, creating an opportunity to expose his schemes. This reversal of fortune not only shows Tessa's maturity, but also highlights her ability to deal with people like Ian, who use false weakness as a weapon to control others. A surprising clue in Ian's hotel room. Meanwhile, another important development will emerge when Chance decides to investigate Ian's actions further. With Nick's help, Chance sneaks into Ian's hotel room to look for evidence. There, he discovers a glass with lipstick on it, a seemingly small discovery that has big implications. Chance, not missing the opportunity to quip, jokes that the lipstick definitely isn't Ian's. However, this discovery opens up a new line of inquiry: Ian may be working with a woman. This adds to the complexity of Ian's plan, and suggests that the danger he poses isn't limited to him alone. Nick Newman and the search for Sharon. Nick Newman, Chance's partner in the investigation at the motel, quickly grasps the important information from the glass. He doesn't just focus on the lipstick, but also immediately speculates about the identity of the mystery woman. Nick has another concern on his mind: finding Sharon and rescuing her from Ian's latest nightmare. Nick, always a man of action for his family, will stop at nothing to find Sharon. His guesses about Sharon's whereabouts become clearer as the clues continue to unfold. A sense of urgency sets in as he realizes that time is against them. Tense developments and unanswered questions. The story of Ian Ward is more than just psychological manipulation, it expands with intrigue and the emergence of mysterious accomplices. With each clue uncovered, the story becomes more and more complex, leaving behind a series of questions. Who is the mysterious woman connected to Ian? What is Ian's true plan to continue manipulating those around him? Is Tessa strong enough to resist Ian's influence, or will she fall into his trap? As the pieces of the puzzle come together, the only thing that is certain is that no one in Genoa City will be safe while Ian remains free. The tension builds and the audience is on the edge of their seats, as unexpected and dramatic developments unfold, bringing a new and exciting chapter to The Young and the Restless. Please subscribe to our channel to update the latest news.